similar to, we had, about 2 years ago, we had the casino down the street from there.
Yeah.
Wasn't enumerated, had to come before this board, or they did.
Yeah.
Right.
And we gave them a variance in order to,
That's why I was just asking. I wanted to understand what the unenumerated issue was.
If it isn't in there that they can have it, they gotta come before this, they can't.
And Bill just mentioned a perfect example. The state recently, allowed
The gambling.
for charitable gaming.
Yeah.
Great. But the town hasn't adopted it,
Yeah.
or has a place for it, or specifically said where they can be.
Right. Like I
Until
said,
just this last town meeting.
That's right.
that's why I wanted to just be clear, because to meet the second criterion, the unnecessary hardship, it has
Hardship goes with the
special
property.
conditions exist that
excuse me, I'm sorry?
Hardship goes with the property.
Yes.
And as far as hardship in Bokia versus City of Portsmouth, the court decided that originally for many years the standard for unnecessary hardship required that the deprivation resulting from the enforcement of the ordinance had to be so great as to effectively prevent the landowner from making any reasonable use of the property. But in this decision, they were quoting Simplex, which established a new, less restrictive standard. Applicants for a variance may now prove unnecessary hardship by demonstrating that a zoning restriction as applied to their property interferes with their reasonable use of their property, considering the unique setting of the property and its environment. Here, we believe this is a reasonable use because it's within the same parameters of what that space used to be. As I said 3 or 4 years ago, this wouldn't be an issue, and now the legislature has carved out a little niche for this, so we think it is within that use. It's going to be the same style business, less of a dance place or loud pumping music, more of a relaxed atmosphere. They will serve alcohol, but the issue here obviously is the smoking, and the cigars and the hookah are far less dangerous than alcohol itself. Nobody's going to be getting into fights or causing a ruckus because they smoked a cigar or hookah, certainly not compared to alcohol. And if everybody is aware that hookah is what I said it is, tobacco, molasses, and spices, sometimes flavored with fruit or other like things, and it is not anything illicit. It does not cause any alteration of the mind or anything like that. It's a commonly accepted social habit across the world, and it is starting to spread now across the United States. The second part of how to prove hardship is no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general purposes of the zoning ordinance and the specific restriction. It pretty much goes hand in hand with the first one here. There's no substantial relationship between the current zoning and the, for lack of a better term, lack of specific zoning prohibiting the smoking. It's just that it hasn't been enumerated yet. We think by enumerating this, you might actually bring more business to the beach. You might get 1 or 2 other shops. There's some vacant buildings throughout the whole Hampton Beach area, and some on Route 1. People might take a look at this and bring some more business into the town. And the third criterion is the variance would not injure the public or private rights of others. It's certainly not going to diminish anybody else's rights within the neighborhood or the community. It's going to raise the values of the property. Enclosed property brings down the value of the surrounding properties. We've all heard about, foreclosed homes bringing down the property of its neighbors. closed business, shuttered businesses bring down the value and the attractiveness of the entire neighborhood. So we think we could add to that. So that satisfies the unnecessary hardship. Third, the variance, the third of the original 5 criterion. Variance is consistent with the spirit of the ordinance. Again, it's a lounge. A lounge was allowed there before. This is going to be less obtrusive. It's going to be a little bit higher end than just a bar. And I also just want to be clear, cigarette smoking is not allowed in the bar, in the cigar bars, as part of the Liquor Commission's licensing. It has to be cigars and hookah only.
And no food either.
And there is no food other than packaged snacks, peanuts, crackers, that kind of thing. There'll be a wide variety of soft drinks. If you noticed in some of the pictures, some of the people are drinking soft drinks as opposed to alcohol. So it'll be less obtrusive than the original. So I think it meets the spirit of the ordinance. 4, substantial justice is done by giving him this variance. I think there would be a substantial justice. He's looking to open a business there. The owner of the building, I'm sure, would like to have an occupant and defray his cost, and I think that will be a substantial justice. And again, raising property values and the town's tax base surrounding everything. And as far as values, the 5th one, that it cannot diminish the value of surrounding properties. I don't see how it could diminish the value of the surrounding properties. It's not like billowing out of this building and spreading to the other people, other businesses. There are going to be smoke eaters in place.
Very well ventilated.
Well ventilated, yes. And I think we can meet those criteria. And just to let you know, he had a fire engineer's report done, and all issues will be addressed. The building will be upgraded. Anything that needs to be done is going to be fully sprinklered. And
One more. All right.
And also, just to let you know, the embers from a hookah, well, they are just that, they're embers. They're small, there's no open flame. It's not going to catch fire hazard of any kind. And obviously they'll have all fire extinguishers. It is fully sprinklered. There is no danger in that. So I think we meet all the criteria now. Any questions you have?